So, Sonic Superstars just got announced on June 8th, and I gotta say, it is looking quite good from my personal perspective. And there's probably going to be discourse about this game because there's always discourse about Sonic. Sonic has been too many things at this point in time where there's so many different fans of so many different kinds of Sonics that they've enjoyed that it's going to be almost inevitable to have a lot of arguing about a Sonic game. Even this little tiny baby 2D Sonic game. But with that said, I don't care. If I like something, I'm going to tell you guys I like it. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. Some of your guys' favorite YouTubers are going to really love this game and the way it looks and leading up to it. And some of your guys' favorite YouTubers will also not like it and probably slander it. So I'm going to be here and be as real as I am and just say how I feel because I don't care. This is a Sonic game. You know, it's a blue hedgehog, runs fast. It's not that deep. But somehow people try to kill each other over Sonic. But anyways, before we hop into how I feel about this game and also the brand new news that got released alongside the release of this trailer. Hey, hold up a minute. 75% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so why don't you consider subscribing if you've been enjoying the content? You may be like, hey, this might be too early in the video, but 43,000 of you guys keep coming back to these videos, so I'm talking to you. Why don't you hit the subscribe button? Thanks guys. So Sonic Superstars has actually some interesting details that got announced alongside of this trailer that has come out, obviously. And it says, 2D Sonic platforming evolved. 2D classic Sonic platforming has been reimagined for current generation platforms with new zones, music, gameplay, and modern HUD visuals only possible with 3D graphics. Sonic's movements, physics, and controls feel familiar and appeal to recent and legacy fans alike. Play as your fan favorites Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy Rose to take on Dr. Eggman, old nemesis Fang, and their nefarious schemes. Sonic designer Naoto Oshima is also back with a new character that Sonic and his friends will have to face. 7 Emerald Powers. Use the power of the 7 Chaos Emeralds to unlock various new abilities like creating clones of yourself, climbing waterfalls, powering up, and more. And also, if you sign up for the newsletter on their website, you do get a modern Amy Rose skin, which is pretty cool. And that actually will bring us to something later on in this video. So Sonic Superstars, I think this is a really fun looking game. And I honestly am pretty hyped for it. I haven't been hyped for a Sonic game obviously since Frontiers, I guess. Frontiers was a mixture of hype and worry. This game, I just feel pure joy from just looking at it, and I just want to play it. One of my favorite things so far about looking at this trailer is the expressive nature of Sonic. The animations look really great on Sonic in my personal opinion. Like even when he's just grinding on the tree branch or whatever, he has his quills just like flowing through the air and he's like kind of moving around a little bit, and it just looks refreshing compared to what we've had in the past where it's mostly stiff. I would say most Sonic game animations are stiff. Even Sonic Frontiers is probably one of the most stiff Sonic games since Forces. Overall, this just looks extremely well put together in my opinion. Now, obviously, this isn't perfect. I think there are some things that look a little off about the graphics, and it does look somewhat like it's running on Switch, but it says the footage is captured on PC, so I'm a little interested in why the graphics look a little odd sometimes. Overall, it's a nice looking game, but I'd say some things do look rough. And the only other problem I really have with this whole game is that it's $60, but I guess it's not really a full problem. It's more so, does this game have enough content to justify the $60 price tag? Because this game is essentially like, obviously a 2D Sonic Mania, but in 3D graphics. So what would make this worth more than Sonic Mania? Sonic Mania, I believe, was a $30 game? I could be wrong on that because I'm going off memory for that one. It was either a $20 or $30 game, and it was pretty filled with content, quite honestly. So this game has to have as much content as Sonic Mania and more on top of that. And it's nice to see there's more playable characters off rip. One of the best things about this game, though, is that all of these zones are original zones. And I'd say only the first level we saw somewhat reminds me of Green Hill or Emerald Hill, but everything else we've seen has been pretty unique, such as the whole retro level, which kind of reminds me of Pac-Man, and it also reminds me of the techno bass from Sonic Advance 2. So this is going to be a really cool game to see all new original levels. It's kind of what a lot of people wanted out of Sonic Mania, because Sonic Mania had things like Press Garden and things like that, or Titanic Monarch, and those are really cool original levels, and people just wanted to see more stuff like that. Well, now here you go. You have a whole game with that kind of stuff. I mean, it may be a different art style, but as long as it feels similar to Mania, I think it'll be okay. But one thing I think I have noticed is the game does feel a little bit slower when Sonic is running straight on the ground, and that may be due to the game having local co-op, which allows up to 4 players to play at the same time. So I could see that being a big factor why Sonic feels a little bit slower than probably previous games. And it could also be how the camera angle is, because it feels kind of zoomed in, if I'm being honest. And the game looks like it zooms out once you see all 4 players on the screen. It looks like it's zoomed out a lot more. And I do think the camera plays a big sense of speed for Sonic in a lot of these 2D games. If it's zoomed out pretty far, it can feel like Sonic's going pretty fast because you see a lot of the level design behind you from running. Or in some of the classics, Sonic goes so fast that he goes off screen sometimes. So that's probably some minor nitpicks I have about the game, is I guess the graphics and how zoomed in it is. But other than that, this game is extremely hyped to me. I love playing Sonic games where you can have different playable characters that are optional, of course, so you can run through the games as if they're brand new in a way. It really adds to the replay value just having multiple different characters with different abilities. And we have Amy this time around with her hammer, and I don't really know how it works, but I kind of have a feeling it's going to work similar to how she's going to be in Sonic Origins Plus. And that's also another thing to bring up. It's kind of odd that these games are so close to each other. Sonic Origins Plus and then Sonic Superstars so close to each other. It's kind of wild. Now, the Zippo leak is something we do have to address. A lot of people were saying Zippo was wrong. There's no modern Sonic. Well, he might have been right, actually. There is a modern skin swap for Amy through the newsletter, so that's probably going to be how we get to play as modern characters in this 2D game, is through skin swaps. And it could have been that Zippo got information on this game at the time that this had a modern cast, which could have just been the skin swaps, or originally the modern cast could have been planned as the main cast. Regardless, he hasn't been wrong at all. This is a 2D game, which he did leak the existence of, and there's going to be modern skins for the game, so he's not technically wrong. It could have just been that his information was pretty rough, but he had the information that this game existed, period. And that's the important part to focus on. I don't know why people try so hard to discredit Zippo. Like, the whole reason any of us knew about this game was because of him. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I love the animations. Sonic even has the Sonic CD thing, and just the trail behind him when he's running sometimes, and everything. And Sega even said that this is going to be like the classic style in terms of the physics and stuff and the feel. So we'll have to see about that one. But the main things they need to prove is how the game feels, and hopefully it doesn't feel like, classic Sonic of Forces or anything like that. And they also need to prove that this game is worth $60. So there needs to be more than, I'd say, 8 zones, in my opinion, for this to be worth that much. Because $60 is a lot. This has to have a lot of content, in my opinion, in order to be worth that much. Otherwise, this feels like a $40 game, maybe $30 game. But it still doesn't really diminish my hype because I'm going to buy it regardless. Hey, unless Sega wants to come through with a free copy, I'll take one. But other than that, I'm really looking forward to this game, and I can't wait to review it when it comes out and go through it and live stream it and all of that with you guys. And it's also pretty crazy that they're bringing Fang back as well, and they're making a whole brand new villain for Sonic to fight. So that's going to be really cool to see. And Fang, or Knack, however you want to say his name, he's really cool, and I'm glad they're bringing him back in this game because he deserves some love. That's a really underutilized character. But anyways, those are my thoughts. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and always, I'll see you in the next one.
Well, whatever happens, happens.